Second.
Okay.
Okay.
So, welcome. This is the Water Cooler Chat Show. My name is Nadine K. Thompson. I'm your host, and in conjunction with Activate Core and the Virtual Book Tour, we are having this series to speak with authors. Today, I have as my guest Nicole Littlejohn. So I'm going to turn over to her and ask her, can you please introduce yourself?
Okay. Well, hi everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I am Nicole Little-john. I am an author, a novelist, a mom, a teacher, a wife. Um, so many different things. So many different things. Right now, I'm showing up as my author self, which is just amazing. I love the journey. I love writing. And I love what it does for me, and also, of course, what it does for my readers. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell, really.
Okay. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. I remember the first virtual book tour that you were there because I remember listening to your story on the
Mhm.
first virtual book tour. So we were both on the first virtual book tour. Okay. So what has the journey as an author been like for you?
Well, so far it has been quite a trip, I would say. I've been writing since I was incredibly young. Um, I took a break for a little while, and then I started writing again. I found inspiration in what was happening around me. And I also made a mistake right there with that. That was my first book. I made a mistake where I allowed 20 years to go by without finishing that book. Yeah, that was my mistake. But once I got that out, I started meeting other writers. I did the book tour, and that just propelled me into this persona, okay, this section of my life, this dynamic, which I had not really seen as much before I published my book. It was a very solitary activity for me, just sitting and writing, and then I would send a couple of chapters to a couple of friends. It was just me in my own little space. Now, especially after I joined Substack, everything changed. I get to meet wonderful, incredible creators. They are a click away, basically, which is amazing. I cannot tell you how valuable that is. And your audience is also right there with you. Okay. So even the book that I'm working on now, I publish in sections, okay? And then I have my audience commenting, talking to me in the DMs, asking questions, picking it up. It's been an incredible journey. I've had multiple people help me along the way, which I'm very grateful to them for that. But I definitely want to continue along this same trend, and of course maybe even more. So I have been loving the journey, especially after the book tour, when everything started to happen and my life just basically changed, which is good, which is good. It was for
So
the better. Okay.
yes, would you mind then
Mhm.
sharing at least your Substack information so that, if people want to know more, you can put it
Oh
in the chat.
yes, for
Yes, because
sure,
I would also like to see
for
some
sure.
of your Substack journey and all of that. Yeah, because I'm a member of different
I
writers group and different things. So,
Right. I always feel
okay.
like I have to explain my Substack before anyone clicks it. But okay, I'm gonna
Okay. But it's
because
it's something
it
that
is.
we
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's
Go
something
ahead.
that if this is where your book is, that people can at least come and be part of that journey with you. Hmm.
Right. And everything on here is completely free. Okay.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Here,
Mhm.
I will put it in the chat. But it
Okay.
is for adults.
Yes,
There should
I
be no children
understand.
on my
No children. Okay.
okay.
So, can you then tell me about the books you have written? You said you had this book for 20 years, or it took you 20 years to get it out. So, can you then share the name of that book and when
For
it
my
was
first
published?
book.
Your first book, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So my first book is called If Love Had a Heart, and that looks at the journey of two teenagers who fall in love, and then after they were already in love and way too deep, they found out that one of them is HIV positive. Okay. That was a very that is a very near and dear topic to me, a very near and dear book to me, because what is very important is how our children are treated when it comes to the very natural topic of intercourse, intimacy, all of these wonderful things. Okay. And the dangers that it poses when they have no one to talk to. And the fact that if your children are not talking to you, then they are talking to someone else, and you need to be a part of that conversation. So that was my first book. My second book was a little bit lighter. Okay. Took me a month to from start to finish. I wrote that book in 1 month exactly. It follows the journey of two teenagers. This is also young adult romance. It follows the journey of two teenagers from Santiago de Chile to the south of Chile. And it basically follows my honeymoon journey with my husband, um, which was absolutely wonderful. So I have these two characters trying to find each other and being, or rather, bringing out the best parts of each other. Okay. And then my third book, which is a manuscript, which is not yet published, but it is complete. I am considering if I should publish it on Substack as well. I might just do that. Okay.
Mhm.
But that book is about a forced marriage between a king and a princess, and that book is also psychological dark romance. It looks at generational trauma, how people behave when they have suffered, when they are hurting, when they are in pain, and what is required to reach them. So yeah, I'm thinking about publishing that on Substack as well, but it is safely on my desktop for now.
Okay.
I also wrote a series of short stories because after that book, after that manuscript, when I finished, it's called Thoros, Bloodstone and War. After I finished that manuscript, I realized that I had a deficiency as a writer. I'm always trying to improve. I'm always trying to get better. I'm always trying to mm, express myself in the best way possible. So I found that one of the deficiencies I have was writing intimate scenes and making sure that they are responsible, because usually one might look at a scene and think, oh my God, this is so easy. It is not. It is incredibly difficult to express yourself correctly and be able to reach your audience, keep them captivated, keep them in the moment, and make it make sense.
Yes.
Okay. And
You have
again,
to
make
create
it.
that, create the ambience. You have to use your words. You have to know how the reader will respond. So you're taking everything in. So would you then say
Right.
you are predominantly then a romance writer? Have you put yourself in
I
a
am
kind of
falling.
genre?
I'm falling very heavily into dark romance. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it because
Mm.
my earlier works, I was looking at younger individuals. There was a lot of restriction there, and understandably so. Okay. But when you slip into romance, people tend to have this expectation of fluffy, cushion, happy endings. I don't do that. We're not doing that here.
Uh-huh. You want to bring the real story in, the real people, real
Yes.
story. Because
Yes.
I was
I
going to
want
say
to
to
look.
you,
Mhm.
you have this
Yeah.
topic about HIV in the story. So that's a very, I think, hard topic to deal with. And I
Mhm.
remember the days when people would not talk about it. So how did you find it, like putting that into the book and being able to talk to audiences about this topic?
I actually found it very easy because I thought it was a worthwhile topic to talk about. And I thought not enough people were talking about it. So it was very easy to get that message across once I published, and then I started talking about it. Okay, it was very easy. I also did a series of podcasts where I spoke to professionals who were working with persons surviving HIV. And I also spoke to persons who were surviving HIV, which I had not done previously. That also taught me the importance of research before you start
Research.
writing.
Yes, yes, yes.
Research.
Right.
So
Yes.
for my fourth book, I did months and months and months and months of research, which brought me right there up close and in person with individuals that were actively living circumstances that I wanted to portray in my book, which was amazing. Which is the book that I'm writing now, which is Spida's Daughter, Blood in Silence. That's the one that I'm publishing now actively on Substack, which is set in Jamaica. I should also say. I should also say it is set in Jamaica. Uh-huh.
I like the idea of your second book. So you're taking this journey and it's also mirroring your honeymoon. So was
Mm-hmm.
this said kind of easier? Was this more a memoir kind of for you to write this book?
It was more about the places in terms of my personal experience. But for the characters, they had to go through a lot, to say the least. Because what I did with that book was I attributed the more masculine characteristics to the female character and the more feminine traits to the male character, which you don't often see. So the male character is, traditionally women are supposed to be all ditzy and kind of loopy and they don't know what they want and what they're doing, which is not true. Okay. All the time,
Mhm.
which is not true all the time.
But, yeah, not
Um,
always.
but so I attributed those traits to him. And then of course my female character, she was 17 going on 60. She knew exactly who she was, what she wanted, where she was going. She was very no nonsense, incredibly logical. She was just headstrong, everything you could think about. Okay. And here comes this guy, which is absolutely nuts. And he then has to kind of try to show her that it's okay to be a kid. You don't need to be so responsible at that age. Okay. And she needs to show him that you need to grow up. This is not
Right.
working for
There's a
anybody.
balance, it's balancing both. But and that's kind of sometimes what love is about, is finding that balance and being the best or bringing out the best in each other. So that's kind of a story about balancing love and all of that. Now, your book that you're presently writing, you said it has dark psychological themes. So why did you go into this kind of writing this dark psychological theme?
Okay. Well, my third book touched on a lot of generational trauma, a lot of things that happen to real people, a lot of things that we don't talk about, we don't like to talk about, we don't like to hear about, but we will read about them. Okay. Because oftentimes when you're reading about them, they feel far away, but they really are not. So we identify a lot with these characters because we are watching them struggle, we're watching them fail, we're watching them fall, we're hearing their stories, we're understanding what's happening. We know that in that situation, we might do the very same thing or probably worse. So I am not afraid to look away. I am not afraid to feel, because most of my the way I write first person narrative. Okay. So you are also feeling everything that the characters are feeling. You're right there in the moment with them. And I am feeling all of these things as well, because I put myself there before the reader even gets there. So you get the more structured part of it. I get everything. Okay. For the first psychological romance that I wrote, there's a character that I wrote into that book. Every time I had to go into his mind, when I was done, I had to step away from my computer. Like, this guy is just, he's a lot. He's a lot to
So
handle.
you
Okay.
became the character in a sense. You became the
Yes.
part of the character as you
Yes,
were
yes.
writing the
I had to
character.
think like this character. I had to understand this character's motivations, what they wanted out of this particular scene, what they were trying to get, what was their end, all of that. And you have to look at the ugly. But I've seen ugly before, so I'm not afraid of ugly anymore, you know?
Mhm.
So I will walk into that, and I will bring my readers with me.
So would you like to share then an excerpt of any of your books, maybe the one you're working on presently or
Oh
any book
God.
from before? And I'd like to welcome Latoya. Latoya Jackson is here with us. So thank you for joining.
An excerpt.
Yeah,
Oh
just
my
a
God.
short thing that we could just have a little,
Oh
it could
God.
be if you're not
Um,
ready, we can go back to it later. If you're not ready now.
yes, yes.
We can go back to that one.
There's a specific part in it that I want to find. It's gonna take me a second.
Okay.
Um,
So while you're looking for that, I was thinking about your journey. So you took 20 years to write your
mhm.
first book. Then you said the next book was like in just what, 1 month?
1 month,
1 month.
one
And
month,
then you
one
you
month.
then you had and then you have another book that you are doing like by parts on Substack. So in
Yes.
each situation, you have come into different parts of yourself as a writer. So first, I think was the years when you were not sure, so you were fearful. Then you got it out, and now it's just like you are the epitome, or you're epitomizing the writer now. You are the writer, so you are sharing your story, you are putting yourself out there, you're doing it even live. So that journey, I was thinking of books I read when I was in high school and writers that we celebrated, Caribbean writers. Were there any writers then that you looked up to?
Oh my God, Louis Bennett, 100%, 100%. This lady was incredible. She was absolutely fantastic as far as I'm concerned. What I love about her was the way that she was unapologetic about the Jamaican language. Unapologetic. This is my language. It's not ugly, it's not dirty, it's not disgusting. You just have to deal with it now. I loved that about her. I loved the way she interacted with people. I loved the way she met people where they were. I loved the way she didn't flinch. She never flinched. I loved that about her. So she was a huge inspiration for me. In fact, when I was in high school, I was supposed to present a piece that is both in Jamaican patois and English for the festival, the national festival that they have every year. And I couldn't find a poem. I know that she has poems
Many, many, a
in
lot, yes.
both, but
Yeah.
right. But the thing is, they're so famous and
Yes.
everyone knew about them. Everyone loves them. So I wanted something new and fresh and just, you know, that I could present. And I couldn't find one. I searched everywhere, online, you name it, I couldn't find one. So I got very, very frustrated. I got home, I got my pen, and in 5 minutes, I wrote a poem in both Jamaican and English. And when I went to school to present it, because I'm supposed to be acting out this poem, it was too big for me. I, I could not act out these characters.
Mhm.
Okay, but that was the first time I had ever written in both English and Jamaican patois, and it was phenomenal. That poem was called Pussy, and it got bronze medal. It got a bronze medal. But
Okay.
by then I had left. I had I had left high school. I was in upper six at the time. I had left, so I didn't know exactly what happened with all of that. but I know the person who did present it, and I also know that it won the bronze, which is phenomenal
That's
to me, at
phenomenal.
least. And at
Yes,
least at that
yes,
age, it was
yes,
amazing. Okay, it was
yes.
absolutely amazing to me.
Mhm.
So even this book now, I am writing in standard English and also in Jamaican patois. And I am trying to meet my readers internationally as well as my readers in Jamaica.
Mhm.
So I am presenting Jamaica not as the backdrop. Jamaica itself is almost like a character in the story. It
Mhm.
is a crucial key part of everything that is happening. It informs the decisions, it informs so much.
Everything. Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And of course, you have characters who speak only in Jamaican patois, but
Okay.
I try to ensure that everyone is able to understand. So it's not St. Elizabeth patois, which I do speak. It's not St. Elizabeth patois, all right? Because I also have some of my students. I am by day an ESL teacher to professionals. So some of them are also reading it and learning about Jamaica, and they're like, "Oh my God! So this is what is done." And you're the most alarming response I've ever gotten was, "You guys celebrate your funerals." They were talking about the nine
Yes,
nights, and I was like,
yes.
"Oh no, that's a party. We we celebrate
Okay.
life.
Uh-huh.
We're not gently going into death. No, we're celebrating life." And they were like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe this." Because even here in Chile, if you die today, you are buried today.
Today.
If they can do that.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
Okay, for
mm.
us, it's a whole different story.
It's a
So
different
I'm
story.
bringing all of this forward just as Miss Lou was unapologetic about who she was and where she was from and the way she spoke and the way she lived. I would like to do exactly the same thing in my own way. In my own
I
way.
love that. I love that. So my next question would be, would you have an audiobook then? Because I know a lot of people, because I did linguistics when I was at university, and people would say, oh, but it's difficult when you write patois sometimes to read it. So would you have an audiobook so that it's
Mhm.
read and then people can and hear it and, especially people abroad, they can hear and see how it's done?
Mm. All right. So I would definitely love for someone to say, "Oh my God, Nicole, there is a guy on Substack called Damien. Okay,
Mm,
he reads and he has the most amazing voice. He has read some of my short stories. Um, just wonderful. But there is also a feature of the platform where you can hear what is written there.
okay.
So you
Okay,
just
that's
it's
good.
in the it's in the upper right hand corner, just a little triangle. You click on that and you can listen
Mm,
to the stories. Now, the Spider's Daughter is each each section is multiple chapters, so it is quite long,
mm,
right? So right now I have some 60,000 words, and I have published 6 parts so far. On Monday is part 7. Oh
part
my
seven.
God. Part 7 is going to drop on Monday. I'm not finished. I'm in the middle of that. I don't think I'm sleeping tonight.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But you can listen to the book. Um, it's a little bit wonky with the Jamaican patois. It's going to be a little bit wonky. But it's not, I would not say it cannot be understood and enjoyed. So I would advise that for now until I get something more formal in place, you know?
But yeah, at least people
But
can
it
hear it now.
yes, yes, yes,
Mm.
yes. I myself, I am a mother, and I cannot. Oh God, I respect my books so much. You do not bend or crease or play with my books, and I have 2 small children. So audiobooks is what I am doing at this point
Yes,
because I
yes.
I could not live that down. Oh, if they broke one of my books. So I do use audiobooks when
Uh-huh.
I am listening to my books as well. So I fully understand. I fully understand that.
So in terms of your book, this book, then you said so are you dealing with then with death? Is it about you said generational trauma? So is what aspects exactly are you focusing on? Mhm.
All right, so Spider's Daughter, Blood and Silence. looks at the secret relationship, the secret romantic relationship between uh, an uptown UE student and a roadman. He
Yeah.
is a known killer, and he is oftentimes the representation of Jamaica that we don't talk about, the parts that we don't like to tell the tourist about. Well, I've brought everyone there. So even when other Jamaicans read it, they're like, oh my God, this is my boyfriend. This is, where I grew up. This is, I can see this, I can see that. Jamaicans abroad are also reading it and they're like, oh my God, I want to go home, which I too would like to go home, just so everyone is clear on that.
Yeah.
Okay. But it looks at how their relationship developed, the struggles that they had to or that they have to overcome. It looks at family ties, it looks at political ties, it looks at so much, so much, so much, so much. It looks at sexual awakening, it looks at, oh my God, it looks at sexual trauma, which apparently none of us, it's happening to everyone, but nobody talks about it.
Everybody talks
I
about
would
it.
like us to talk about it.
Mm.
Okay. Because I also firmly believe that it is in the silence that these people continue to hurt people.
Yeah, it is a
Okay.
big part of our
For this
culture, but
book,
not spoken about. Yes. Yes.
exactly. I am ready to talk about it. So then we are all ready to talk about it because
Yeah.
I'm very loud and I'm going to be even louder very soon.
Mm.
But but I wanted to show, because in my opinion, the Jamaican man, he reminds me of a dominant personality. Okay. I'm trying not to get myself into any trouble here. I'm trying. Okay. I researched a lot about this before I started writing. The Jamaican man reminds me a lot of the dominant personality or the dominant personality type. I spoke to several DOMs. I spoke to several submissives. I spoke to a sadist, which was quite interesting. I also spoke to a psychologist from Jamaica just to talk about power dynamics in relationships. Some of it we all know, but of course, I needed also that professional perspective and to kind of focus my energy. Okay, for a lot of us, especially young women, young people, I keep saying women, but it's because of the way I was socialized. But when you talk about dominant and submissive personalities, it could be male or female.
Mm.
Okay. I will also tell you that some of the people that I spoke to, the least interesting thing about them is being DOMs or subs. They are incredible people, practicing professionals, doing incredible work across the board. But we as young women, young girls, we I don't think we have enough orientation to know what to look for.
That's true.
We do not understand, for example, things like consent. I learned consent recently.
Mm.
Recently, I'm 43 years old.
Mm.
And this research actually showed me what consent is supposed to look like. So, for one, I always thought that consent was someone does something, you don't like it, you say no, and they stop.
Mm.
No, no, I don't accept that brand of consent anymore because that is dangerous. Within kink, which is what I started researching, and tenets of kink and specifically BDSM, consent, healthy consent, is where we talk about what we want to happen. And then you decide if it can happen or not. And even when it's happening, you can still say, we need to stop. And then there are no consequences. It's just, I've removed my consent. We're not doing this anymore. And you simply cannot.
But
So
even
the
if you take that,
Jamaican man, mhm.
uh-huh. Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead,
No,
go
I
ahead,
was
go ahead.
going to say even if you add that to relationship, just normal relationship, people don't normally talk about
Mhm.
anything. And we grew up in a culture where
No.
nothing was talked about. Yeah, nothing was ever,
And
it's like you
and at the
just go
same time,
into it.
everything is talked about.
Yes.
Nothing is talked about, but everything is talked about. Everything is in the songs, in the movies, and it's everywhere. It's on the street, it's on the bus,
But
but
not
nothing
to
is actually
not
talked
yeah,
about,
talked about to it face to face. Nothing
which
is
is
not
incredible to me.
yeah, yes, yes.
Exactly. So I wanted to make a distinction because the Jamaican men, if we're going to be honest, they are very controlling. They're possessive. They are clingy. They're all of those things. They naturally are. But you have a difference between a dominant personality and someone that is abusive.
Mm.
Now, they may share traits, but there is a very, very clear difference. With the dominant personality, whatever they're doing, whatever is happening, whatever you might have consented to, or whatever the relationship looks like, you can always walk away. That's
Mm.
one. Two, you have consented to whatever it is. And three, you are forever safe. You're always safe. You're always safe. You're always safe. You are always safe. This person is never going to hurt you. With an abuser, all of
Ah,
that is very
mm,
different.
yeah.
So once you feel unsafe, run,
Mm,
run, because it is not what you're looking for.
mm. But then again, as you said, I think because of our culture and where it is, and a lot of things happening, never been talked about, many people are steep in it and don't know when to get out. So maybe it's only after the
Yeah.
trauma that they can get. And even then, the trauma
Mm.
exists within their bodies for years and years and years. Mm. So yeah.
Yes,
So
which is
I
why
do
education is so important,
education is
because we
important.
we we are visiting this upon the younger generation, and we are telling the men this is how you're supposed to behave. You're supposed to lock this girl down, and if she is not terrified for her life, she's not in love. What kind of
Mm.
message is that? What kind of message is that?
Mm.
No. So
So yes,
yeah, we're not doing that
education.
anymore.
Yeah, education. So
Education.
do you then see your book as a book that could be read by university students? Because you said your book is for adults.
Oh,
So I
for
was
sure.
thinking, yes,
Oh,
because
for
at
sure.
university I read a lot of different kinds of literature, and I was thinking, yeah, this is something that because it lends itself to discussion, lends itself to different points of views. So this is something that age, 18 and above, could get into and read and see a different point of view, a different, way of thinking and sharing
I completely agree, though I think that the conversation needs to happen before.
before.
So my book is not the one for before, but we need other authors to step forward and recognize that psychological dark romance set in Jamaica should not be taboo. It shouldn't be. When you look at psychological dark romance for the Italian mafia and these mafia and that mafia and the things that they're doing, and they're openly doing it, what is wrong with what we have? What is so wrong with what we have? We don't like to look at this side of our culture. We like to ignore it. But I would like to posit that we as humans, we have a duality. So you have the worst you can imagine. There's still good in that person. There's still good in that person. You don't get to decide or condemn anyone because of your own biases. And you might be right. Don't get me wrong. You definitely might. But I'm just saying that there is good in everyone. And the best of us, we still have some real ugly in us,
Yeah,
especially given the situation.
I think it's accepting Jamaica for what Jamaica is. It's because I was, there is the component of Jamaica is a Christian country, and there is a component of Jamaica as a country that has, they used to say we have, there's a church on one hand and there's a bar on the other side, and then the underculture of the drug, the dons, everything.
Mhm.
So how do you bring everything together into one space? Because there are so many facets and so many parts of Jamaica. There's no one Jamaica, then there are different parts of Jamaica. Yes,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
because for some people,
This is
they
it.
will say it depends on where they are and what they know, because not everybody is exposed to the side of the Don culture or that side of it. Some people have never,
Hmm.
seen or been a part or know anything about it. And there are some people who this is their life, and there are some people who they have always been
Yeah.
into the Christian culture and the church culture. So there's so many different facets of Jamaica that I say to people, we are not one.
Yes.
We're multifaceted. It's different based
Hmm.
on many, many different things. We know about it, but it's not our story then. So it's good for you to
Hmm.
share that story and to research it, and for us to not have it in a way that we're looking down on it, but to understand it.
Hmm. It's
Mhm.
it's a part of us. It
Yes,
is
it's
a
a
part
part.
of us. And
Mhm.
I don't think that we should keep turning a blind eye, because the more we turn a blind eye, one of the key things I wanted to show in my book, one of, because there's so many, one of the things I wanted to show is that we neglect our kids on a different level. Okay. When you're an orphan, when you're poor, when you're this, that, and the other. And one of the things I wanted to put forth or to ask the reader, do you understand that if we neglect these children when they are young, we are going to meet them in some dark alley when they are older, and they will have the same mercy we had when they were kids? That's just
So
one of the things.
yeah. So something
Yeah.
within the system went wrong that is creating this
Yes.
kind of person on that side. So we then need
Yes.
to go find out what is creating this person and fix that, and not just look at the person when they're now an adult doing something wrong. Yeah.
Exactly. We are all to blame as a society in general. All of us, we are to blame. So I have a lot of hard questions for the
Yeah.
readers. It is not a comfortable book. It is not a book where you go, "Oh my God, this is so cute and ditzy." It is not. There are some really hard realities that we have to face, and the reader will have to ask themselves these questions. I do not provide any cushiony, cute,
Mhm.
sweet answers. You will have to look within yourself and find those answers for yourself.
I love that though, that you're not shying away from these hard topics, because sometimes we just want our writing to be beautiful, nice, sweet, but you're not shying away from that. You're saying, no, we need to talk
Mhm.
about this. We need to bring it out there. We need to have people, wrestle with it. There's maybe no one answer, but we need to think about it, talk about it. So I love that. Yeah. So
Thank
where
you.
do you see your journey then as a writer? What's next?
What's next for me? I will be, because I am claiming that, I will be at some future date in Jamaica, sat with other writers, turning this book or another book into a series. That's what I want to do. Okay.
Mhm.
I would like it to be on TV for the world to look at. Yeah.
And I'm thinking that would be something good, because when a book comes to life, that's another facet of the book. So there's another way of presenting it. There's another way of showcasing it. So yeah, we want to
Yes.
see that. We want to see that. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So
This
the
is what I want to
ending.
do.
You
Mhm.
said you're almost at chapter 7. So have you envisioned the ending of the book yet? Do you know where you're taking it to?
I the way I write, I find out what's happening when the readers are finding out, because I'm writing first person uh narrator. So we don't know anything until she knows. What I
Mhm.
do is that I understand my characters, who they are psychologically, their motivations, what their fears are, their traumas, their drama, all of that. And as the writer, I provide the setting, the situation, and then allow them to react to those situations. Okay. I do not have them, I, I decide very little before. Okay. So when it comes to the end, I am just as surprised, just as surprised and excited as the reader. So when there is a part in the book that takes us to the barnyard, which is not necessarily the side of Jamaica,
That
again, that
people want to
people
talk
will
about.
find in a romantic novel. Okay, so I'm gonna say this is not an ordinary romantic novel. It just is not. Maybe at the end of it, I'm just like, oh my god, maybe this needs a new genre. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I take them to the barnyard, and I have no idea what was gonna happen until it was happening, and that's the same energy throughout the book. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I like,
God,
yeah, that's good. So you're not like prescribing it. You're saying as it goes along and you get the inspiration, then that's what you're going to write about. So that's
right.
great too.
So
Yeah.
because what happened was that if I decided what I wanted my characters to say or what they are going to do, I ended up deleting a lot of my work, and it was very frustrating for me. Once I allowed them to express themselves and just to react naturally in the moment, he said, and then she said, and then this one does, and that one does, and then it comes to its natural conclusion. I don't delete anymore. I'm not wasting time pushing the story. I am just being carried by it, understanding again that it needs to be responsible. That is a very, very important thing for me. So it's not just, oh my God, let's do a free for all type situation, but I have chosen my characters well. Okay. So I don't know what's going to happen at the end. I usually publish 30 pages. Each section is approximately 30 pages. Okay. And when I tell you I'm not sleeping tonight, it is because I am not allowed to sleep. My my readers over these past couple of weeks have been spoilt, I'm going to say, because I told them I publish on the 1st and the 15th. I was a couple hours late publishing section 6, and I got complaints because they've
Oh,
already built it into their
everything.
routine. I'm just like, but it was still the first. And they're like,
Mm.
no, but you send it at 10. I never said I was going to
So
send it at 10, but
they've been
now people
hooked.
are
They've been
expecting it.
hooked into this story. So they're waiting.
Yeah.
They're waiting.
And
Yes,
they're
yes.
waiting for it. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So now I cannot sleep. I have like 20 pages, and I am the head cook and baka washer. So I have to write it. I have to edit it. I have to proofread it. I have to this, that. I have to upload it. All of those things. It's just me. So I need to finish and be able to get that out
Mm.
before people start looking for me.
Mm. So that's a
Just like
responsibility you
putting the
have when
last
you're
time.
writing your book live, I guess, and you're going through it live. So you need to
Yes.
like keep
In
to
real
those
time.
deadlines. Yeah.
Yes.
And then you are doing everything for
Yes.
yourself,
Yes.
editing, doing everything. That's a different way. But I love this
Yes.
format, and I would love you to, teach us more about
Mhm.
this format because maybe many authors would also like to try this format, of having their book live on Substack.
I will tell you that this format definitely keeps you on your toes. You don't miss a day. You cannot miss a date. Okay. But the good thing is that you set the date.
Mm.
So you can say once a month if that is what works for you. But you need to be consistent because your readers are waiting. They are sat there waiting for you. Okay, but it will push you to write, so you know that you have to do it. For me, I have a huge issue with procrastination. Latoya Jackson, who is here, she says she's going to write a book about procrastination, how to help others. I'm waiting for that book. Okay. Don't think I forgot. So
Yeah.
I'm one of those that procrastinate a lot. It's really, really difficult with everything else. Get up and go. That's the book. I
So you would
I
say
have
this format has helped you to write the book then to put it out there because
yes,
you have to
yes,
keep the deadline. So do you think it works
yes, I have to.
better for a nonfiction book or a fiction book? Because your book is, I guess, mostly fiction mixed with some research and stuff. So would you say it works better for
It's
fiction?
fiction. It's no, it's a wait, 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 wait. It's
Yeah. Fully fiction.
It is 100% fiction, please, dear God, because there is a lot, there's a lot in there. I don't know anything about any criminal organization. People, please don't ask me any questions. Okay, all of my book, everything is fiction. All of it is fiction. Okay,
Mhm.
but I would say that this form of writing has more to do with your personality types and your needs as a writer.
Mhm.
Okay, for me, for one, I need that push. I was writing every day, and that was good, but I also was writing in a vacuum. I wasn't hearing from my audience. This is when the book is finished that you publish, and then you hear what people think. At this point, I'm also building my platform, so I'm speaking to people. People can DM me, you can ask me any question, comments. I love to hear what people say about my book. One of my students in particular, she usually takes like 3 weeks to finish each section. Okay, because she's learning English, and my book is one of the tools that she's using to do so. When I published part 6, we had a class the following day, and she's like, listen, I finished, I have questions, which for me was just amazing. And I could see that in real time, where she was taking this amount of time, and then she read the same 30 pages in like 24 hours. And I was like, oh my God, that's fantastic. And you're reading Jamaican patois. She speaks Spanish, that's her native language, and she's just gobbling up the book. I love that. I was excited by that. So you get
Amazing.
that real time. This is the section that she's super excited about, and you know exactly what she's thinking, and she's talking to you about specific things that are also very close in your mind because you just wrote them. For many of us, once we've written a book, you know what, I'm not going to say for many of us, for me, once I've written a book, I tend to let go of those characters because they live with me. They stay with me in my head for a very long time. I know them. I know everything about them. But once I'm finished and I close that book, I move on to another set that I also love, that I also adore. So it is my readers loving my characters in real time while I am loving them as well. So we're sharing this. And I might say something about Aisha, who is Spida's daughter. She's the university student. I might say something about her, and someone would be like, no, 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 no. Please do not speak about her like that. I believe XYZ. And I'm just like, okay, sorry.
It
Didn't
it
mean to step
reminds
on
me
your
a
toe.
lot of it reminds me a lot of radio drama that used to be on, I think, one Jamaican radio station, and it was kind of live. So you're writing it and the people are listening to it every day and they're learning about the characters and you're writing
Mm,
it and it's live. So I think there is room for this kind of writing. I love it. I mean, it's different. It brings in the audience. You're getting the feedback. You have to, be on target. You don't just
mhm,
write the book and close the book and then you go, you talk to people. So this is another way I think that authors can explore because I don't think it's not many authors are doing it. So I think it's a different way. So thank you for bringing that to our attention, bringing that this whole vibe, this whole energy of something different that we can explore. So I'd like to say to anyone who has joined us, would you like to, add anything, say anything, share anything as you are listening in? The floor is yours. And the Substack link has been shared before. So if you came
mhm,
in, you can also join and, be a part of the writing, be a part of what is
I
happening.
can I can share it again.
Yeah,
I
you can share
also
it
have that
again.
quote for you. I found a quote that I really like that I could
And
read.
I think some people are asking about the title, like, the title. So the title of the book itself, what's the title of the book?
This one now,
This one
the one
now.
that I'm working on now,
Yeah.
Spider's Daughter, Blood
Spider's
and
daughter,
Silence.
Spider's
Yes,
daughter, Blood and Silence.
yes. And
So
there
yeah, so
is,
I think we can all
mhm,
join and be live and be part of the book as you're putting it on Substack and getting it, yeah, and getting it and being a part of that because I think as Jamaicans, that is one thing I will say. We do like that oral part of books. I mean, I think oral literature has always been part of our culture. And as you talk about Miss Lou, you could see that really evident because, as I said, growing up, I was listening to radio drama, and it was a big part of people's lives every day to just listening in on to. I think Barbara Gludon was writing these, scripts, and people were listening to them every day. So I think it's a big part of our culture. So having it and being able to listen, I think opening it up even to the Jamaican audiences is actually a really good idea because people gravitate towards that. It's a way of it's how we learn basically and how we think in a sense. Yes. So
Yeah.
anybody else who would like to share anything? We
And
haven't.
I have a question for the
Yes.
audience.
Yes.
I mean, ask your questions, but then I have a question for the audience.
Okay. Good evening,
Good
Nicole,
evening. Good
Hi,
Nadine,
morning.
darling.
and other authors. You know I had to chime in, right?
Yes.
Nicole was there from the beginning, from the first virtual book tour. She has been on track. Her first two books sold off at our first meet and greet with Amelia in Beijing a couple of years ago. And
That
persons
was
are
amazing.
still asking for the books. Right? Yes, ma'am. But you
Thank
proceeded
you.
to write another book. Yes. If I was near you, I would just pinch you. But I love your work. I've always loved your work, followed your work, and I believe that is a strong. If you come over to WeChat because you do have an account there, the strong
Mhm.
presence for your kind of writing there as well, and for your Spanish authors. So for those who don't know, Nicole is bringing in the Spanish authors. She brought in a few last year. She's bringing in a few this year again. So I really appreciate that. You're enabling our tour to be multilingual because Amelia's taking in the French
Exactly.
authors, Resh has the Chinese authors, and the Spanish authors. So thank you so much for partnering, with us again another year. um, in terms of your writing, I see that it has evolved over the years. You're taking more risks. You're actually diving into some very controversial topics that I
Not so
love.
shy anymore.
I love how when you just started. Yes, you are more sure of yourself now, and I really applaud that. You have grown so much, girl.
Thank you.
That. And your books are really 50 Shades, and I love them. Yes, yes. So I would love to see you expand with your podcast as well. I believe
Yes.
that there is a market for what you do on a higher level, a wider level. You're doing a tremendous job on Substack. So
Thank you.
keep it up and, get your podcast going again. And of course, we'd love to see you launch a challenge for some of us who are still trying to get used to Substack.
Yeah, that's what I was
Right,
thinking too.
Nadine?
Yeah. How to use Substack, how to, benefit
And
from it and
Nadine,
stuff.
a
Yeah.
secret I told her already, but I'm telling her now publicly so she can't back out. I'm putting her into a corner. So now she has
Cause
to
she
do it.
never hear.
Mm.
So now she has to do it. Yes. And we are always here to support you.
Mm.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, congrats
Thank
on your
you.
work. But you are a very talented author, and we appreciate your presence on the tour.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that challenge. Yes,
Mm,
yes,
my God.
Nicole.
Okay. Anyone else wants to say anything?
Good night, everyone.
Um,
Good night. Good night. Good morning.
All right, so Little John and I are coming from way, 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 way back. So this success that she's experiencing is I'm enjoying the journey with her. So just like how she's my sounding board, I'm also her sounding board for some of
yes.
the writings and stuff like that. And I'm going to second with Lady Jennifer in terms of the podcast. Um, based on some of the conversations we have had, Littlejohn, I think now would be a good time to start the podcast. Yeah, and you understand. Yes, yes, yes. Now would be a good time to start back the podcast, and I rest my case. Yes.
You've been given the challenges, you've been given the charge. So I think, because sometimes people can see things or stuff within us that we sometimes we want to, but we don't want to take the step. So when somebody they say it, then it kind of make us, we think about it and we realize that, maybe it's time. So I know your plate is full. You're writing, you're teaching, it's a lot. It's a lot, yes.
I have been experimenting a little bit with going live on Substack, which is amazing.
Yes,
I have
I've
to
seen
say.
I've seen people go live because, as I said, I've been a member of Substack now for about 4 years, and I follow a couple of people there.
Mhm,
I don't write as much, but because
mhm,
even this morning I was watching somebody who is live with his book and sharing his book. So there are different ways, and I've followed different people who are talking about politics, talking about books, talking about
mhm,
writing. And there's one lady who does a little bit of writing courses there. Every month she publishes a little bit of teaching you how to write. So
mhm.
there are different things that I've seen there, but I do understand the time factor
What I
in
what